Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be speaking about could Dogecoin actually go above 50% before August or September? Well, let's discuss that right now. If you haven't already, do subscribe, drop a comment, and hit your bell. It is making a wedge line, and I seen this actually in other news, but I had to double check for myself to make sure it was actually going in that same pattern, and it is actually looking this way. Of course, only if it breaks above this trend line on the top and the upside of this wedge pattern, given at the weekly, you'll see this much more clear. That could it actually start to pump, given into that. So this is going to really, it needs to be along with trading volumes, of course, that the asset is actually going to break out, and technical analysis, and myself included. A falling wedge breakout can push the price upward as much as the maximum distance between. So about halfway over this. So it would be around here, around 300.30. So around 42 cents is where it could be. Right now we're speaking about 0.1342 for Dogecoin. Of course, now applying the classic theory to Dogecoin would actually go above 0.40 cents if the breakout occurs near the 14-cent level, or about 190% above the days of the price that we're currently seeing. At its worst, the falling wedge could actually have price rally a little over 50% to 21 cents if this breakout comes to be near around the 75-cent mark, of course. And of course, Elon Musk, and he's making a lot of different racket based on this too, about Dogecoin and Twitter. Of course, he had accepted, Twitter accepted this bid to buy Twitter or whatever for $4 billion. And actually, Dogecoin reacted pretty strongly against this. Really, really bullish. It did. It was about a 20% increase on that day. I think it was the 25th that actually did, which made that really, really big. Now, of course, that's kind of like short-lived, so to say, but the possibility, even if it's remote, is going to get traders excited, and of course everybody's looking into it, and you can find it too. Even if you like go into Google, like you can see that it's the most researched coin out there right now, so it's pretty big on that. So it does have that good impact on it, however. But the inquiries shot up like 392% for it, so people are kind of following along with it as well. So Crypto Wallet 2 confirmed, and that the statement in Cointelegraph that noted that the online interest in buying Dogecoin skyrocketed a lot as well. Of course, the price fell more than 12% around in April the 26th, so it did kind of fall back down, which is expected, especially with these tweets that's kind of going on. But looking at Dogecoin for the day, it is looking really good, and it is staying in the upside of this wedge, and that's really what we want to see more of. We don't want to break down over this. It's still bullish a little bit, nothing crazy. That's why we're talking about August, September. It could kind of come up here if it breaks out a little bit. Looking at the weekly, so it looks like super, super positive right now. When we go to the daily on the side of things, it looks even better, as it's on the higher end of the wedge form, but still a lot of bleeding kind of coming out too. Even when we look at the moving averages, we kind of had that cross, and it does look like it's going to kind of continue to go down a little bit further. So I'm not too optimistic about that. So could it hit 50%? Yeah, of course. Could it fall? Yeah, it can go down much lower too by that time. So I know you guys are seeing this, so definitely be careful on that, what you follow in. It does show that, but we also know crypto, it's not always what this is. So it could kind of go back down, especially given the fact that it jumped so strong from that one tweet, and it kind of fell back down the next day by 12%. It tells you it's not that strong, right? It's not that strong. So what that is really telling us is that people bought into it really fast. They made some change, honestly, and then they sold out, and then that's where we're left with that. So it just kind of hyped it up a little bit, nothing more than usual. We're still kind of moving into this range a little bit, kind of going on too, if we're speaking more on the daily. That's happening, right? So we are moving into that. These big upskirts is a big moment too. When we have these big candles coming in, that's really out of the ordinary. It does signify a change, and so there could be a change. Now, where is that going to be? We don't know just yet, but we know that it is kind of getting a little. If we're looking at the moving average, it is getting a little bit smaller or bigger for the selling side of things. So don't hold on too tightly to that. It could absolutely just bottom out. So if you're seeing that again, I want to stress to you not to follow into that so strongly. Now, of course, everybody loves hype, and that would be awesome if it did. But we haven't seen a breakout like that in quite some time. So it could be good, but I don't see it really happening too strongly. Now, it would be awesome, but we can only see what the future will really tell once we kind of get off into the next couple of weeks or so. Solana is also breaking news as well. They're expecting it to kind of go up a lot soon. They're expecting it, of course, like to double as well. A lot of different people are. Now, when we're looking at the daily for Solana as well, it's still continuing to go down right now. The volumes are some kind of normalized at the moment. And it does, if we're looking at the daily, it looks much like what Dogecoin's kind of doing as well. Of course, it's trading much higher at $93.79, but it kind of has that that same kind of look, kind of popping off as well. So when we look at the weekly for Solana, Solana even is still continuing that same pattern as well, kind of still slowly going down. Nothing too different about this. These right here really make me nervous. These big candles, because when you have those big candles, especially when it's on the opposite side of things, when it's the retracement, it makes me nervous because it does show that it can continue to kind of drop off down. You don't want anything too big with candles. I mean, you do, but if you're trading it for the long range, you don't want that right now. But it is kind of like normaling out a little bit, so we'll see where it goes in the near future. As far as Bitcoin goes, Bitcoin is also still fighting it off right now as well, kind of bouncing back on support. It's around 38,595. It's really fighting that off. Nothing's changed too much either for this. Bitcoin is just kind of moving sideways with some sporadics and kind of popping off, right? Big pumps around 40,000, right? Whales are pushing this too. Of course, I just seen the other day, it was 68% of Bitcoin has not moved. 68% has not moved in quite some time. And so people are holding and they are expecting to go up. But as far as if it's going to pump up, like how everybody said, I don't see that happening anytime soon. We discussed that in our previous videos. If you haven't, definitely jump over there, kind of click on those and check, and you can kind of check me if you want. And Ethereum too is kind of holding it off too. Ethereum, they really need a big pump as well going on. Of course, we're speaking about 3.0. We need to do that. I think that's going to be a big thing, honestly. And we're going to make a video in the future about Web3 and really, honestly, to kind of explain to some of the newcomers that come to the channel why really is that Web 3.0 really important in today's time, especially with everything going on with the conflict. What all in all, I strongly believe it's going to be in the future, but that's enough for now because we're going to cover that future pretty soon. So I think it's a big thing for Ethereum right now. Yeah, it's sitting at 2,832, but nothing so great. But we're going to see some big things from Ethereum. I'm pretty sure of that just by some new releases. The same thing for Cardano. I think Cardano is going to go up too. There's like speculation that it's going to go up to around $3. That would be cool as well. And just to kind of take a look at Cardano. In all for Cardano, let's look at it. It's kind of sitting right now at what, 80 cents. It's done nothing, honestly. And it's continuing to drop, like a little bit, fighting off a little bit, but not with much prevail. So we'll keep on that. So they're expecting it to kind of go in. It is somewhat consolidated. Even when we look at the week, it's still just dropping off at the end, pretty sporadically. So even now, it's kind of re-entering that cross. So it's going to continue dipping. We had that big plus back on the the week of the 21st. And the 28th was like some kind of okay, kind of like didn't dip too much, but between the 4th of April, the 11th, and the 18th, all of these weeks, it was really, really bad. All right, guys, follow for more. We're going to go over Web 3.0 in the near future as well. We're going to cover some things. So subscribe, drop a comment below. Let me know what let me know what you really think is going to happen with Dogecoin. Do you think it's actually going to it's going to double up? If it's going to rise to 50% or not? Let me know your answers in the comments below. All right, guys, thank you for joining me.